talking to you today. A lot has happened. Someone told me we had to keep you busy, so we're going to hear your voice on a lot of the stuff that has happened first, right out of the gate here. And we got to talk about it. Kyrie Irving got traded to the Celtics. I haven't done a brash reaction to it yet, and it's good that I didn't, because it's on hold right now. Thursday morning, the physical has to be sent in by the Cavaliers and pretty much finalized at that point. So Thursday is decision day.
I thought it was Wednesday, but yeah, maybe it's Thursday.
So
either way, it's
Wednesday the physical has to be done and all set, and then Thursday it's finalized by the league, all the paperwork and crap like that. So that's how that goes. So we're heading against it now. We're about a day away, and it's the latest that I've heard from Adrian Wojnarowski, our official source on everything, is that it seems like this deal is going to get done. So all the mishap aside, we have plenty of time to talk about that another time. But basically, what is your feeling on the new look Celtics? Because it really is a completely different team with a new guy at the top now.
Isn't it crazy how differently they look now compared to the last game of the year? I mean, this was a team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, obviously they were outplayed by a team that was better than them in the Cavaliers, but they were a good team. I think they were better than maybe Danny Ainge expected them to be, you know, a couple years back, you know, when he had this idea of sort of like the crossover years until he could get a couple of legit superstars. This is a completely different team. I think that they're going to be a very, very, very good team, obviously, when you've got a guy like Kyrie Irving leading the charge. Gordon Hayward, who, by the way, the Celtics also acquired him this summer. I know no one's really mentioned him since the Kyrie
forgot
news.
All about the man himself.
How quickly we forget Gordon Hayward is now in the passenger seat very quickly. And then Al Horford, who had, by an educated NBA fan's opinion, of a really, really good season for the Celtics, and he was exactly what they wanted him to be, the facilitator in the big man role. And he's still going to be able to do his thing, and he's got a year under his belt here in Boston. There's no surprises from sort of like the city standpoint and the fan standpoint and just the culture standpoint, but like everybody else now, he has to adapt to a whole new team. So just when he was starting to get acclimated to a guy like Isaiah Thomas and Avery Bradley and Jay Crowder, and you can go on and on, now he's basically almost like a free agent all over again for the second straight year. So that's going to be interesting. I do think the Celtics are going to be a top team in the East, but do I think that they're going to hit some rough patches? Yes, I actually do think that they're going to have some rough patches.
I think the biggest issue pressing my mind on this is, where's the team identity go? Because that's an intangible thing. Some people believe in it, some people don't, but I think it's pretty clear if you watch this team over the last 3-4 years. They gained a lot from how close they were, how dedicated they were to Brad Stevens' system, and just how hard they fought in all these games. We saw comeback after comeback in those early years to help them to get better, add more talent, and then become what they came. Now all that's out the window. The core of the team is gone, and you're basically starting fresh with a new locker room dynamic. We know the lineups are going to be a work in progress, but does the chemistry of the team concern you at all? With a new leader, basically two new leaders in Hayward and Irving, and they have to develop a dynamic with the coach, with the role guys who are already here. It's a new team. I say it again and again, and it's true.
Oh, yeah. If you're not at least concerned a little bit about potential chemistry issues, then you're not paying attention, because it's the NBA. You know, these guys, they've got the biggest egos in all of sports, first of all, and they all want the ball, they all want to score, they all want to do well, and that's fine and dandy. But when it comes down to it, how badly do they actually want to win? Now, I'm not saying that none of these guys want to win, because I'm sure they all do, but when the Celtics originally formed that Big Three way back when, those were players at different points in their careers. Those were guys who had been chasing rings. They were at the not twilight stages, but they were in the later stages of their career, and they were willing to put, their numbers aside essentially, and take a little hit here, take a little hit there for the greater good. Now, I'm not saying that Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward and Al Horford aren't willing to do that, but I'm not saying that it's going to be as easy as it was, because it definitely will not be. Nothing comes together as quickly as it did for the Celtics in 2007, 2008. That was just one-in-a-lifetime type of a coming together, and I just don't see that happening. It's going to be more like when you see a team like the Heat originally, when they came together, they couldn't seal the deal all the way. Some of these super teams, like, you can go down the line, like even the Clippers, guys, teams like that, where they do run into issues. Not saying health aside, they just run into some chemistry type issues. So I do expect that to be a problem. And like you said, the identity. The Celtics of the last couple of years, they were beating teams not really based on skill, but based on more effort and just desire to win and pull these games out. And some of it, of course, had to do with Brad Stevens and some play calling. But at the end of the day, they seem to want it more. I know that's kind of cliche because everybody wants it, but it really did feel like guys like Crowder, Bradley, and Thomas, those guys.
It was evident at the end of those games they'd be down 8-10 points, and they'd push through, make it close even if they lost. And that became a staple of the team.
Yeah, they never gave up, and I'm the first one to admit that I haven't watched a ton of Jazz games over the years, and I would be willing to bet there's a lot of Celtics fans out there who feel the same way. I've seen a lot of Cavs games. I know Kyrie Irving's game, and I know he's not one to give up either. But will be very interested to see how they come together down the stretches, who has the ball in their hands, who wants the shot, who takes the shot. And those are things that we're going to find out slowly but surely. But for people who are, predicting the Celtics are going to have, 60 wins, hold the phone, because I think you're in for a rude awakening, at least in year one.